If you're a solar sales professional, then stop right there. I want you to watch this video first before you go on any more appointments or send out any more proposals, because I'm going to be teaching you 5 things that will set you apart from all the other cheap solar salesmen. Hi everybody, Youre here for Solar Surge, and for the past 8 years I've been helping families get their home set up to survive a loss of the electric grid. And at Solar Surge we do renewable energy, solar power, and many times battery backup as well to help people become totally energy independent. Now today's video is actually geared towards those that are in the solar sales profession. I've been getting some feedback recently about, Joe, I liked your video, shared it with my sales team. And so I wanted to speak to sales professionals, particularly those of you who are just starting out. And I'm going to teach you a few things that will help you close more deals ultimately, but more importantly, set yourself apart from the other solar salespeople that are out there. Now, in the past 3 or 4 years, solar has gotten so popular and the financing options are so attractive now that there are tons of new sales professionals coming into the solar industry. And many of them are coming from other in-home sales like alarm system sales, door-to-door cable subscription sales, direct TV, and a lot from the auto industry as well. And I hate to say it, but a lot of these sort of cheap and outdated sales tactics have come in from those industry into our solar industry as well. So in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how to set yourself apart and really position yourself as a solar expert as opposed to just another salesperson. All right, the first thing is you're not there to sell anybody anything. In today's day and age, consumers have got as much information as they wish to avail themselves of, meaning that they already pretty much know what the product is that you're going to be offering and how much it's supposed to cost, because a quick Google search can reveal that. So don't feel that you're there to go and convince them and push them and sell them on something. What you really want to do is be positioned as the trusted advisor and expert, so you can help first uncover what the customer's needs and goals are, and then be able to match the correct equipment, the correct solution to meet those goals. That's the position you want to be in, the trusted advisor, the consultant. You're not there to sell anybody anything. So in the information age, people don't want to be sold anymore, but people do want to buy. And your responsibility as the trusted advisor is to help the prospect make the most informed, most accurate buying decision. Now, the way you do that is through education, right? And that's why it's so important that you really know your stuff in terms of how the systems work and how the equipment works and the pros and cons of each different equipment choice that you have. You see, by educating your prospect on how solar energy works, how the different solar equipment works, how the net metering process works, that education is going to bond you. It's going to bond you to the prospect and solidify your position as that trusted technical advisor. But in order to earn that trust, you have to know your stuff. And that's why it's so important to do your research ahead of time on the different options that are available to you, so you know the right solution to prescribe based on the situation and based on your unique prospects' goals and challenges. So in order to get this right then, your engagement needs to start first with needs analysis. Okay, the first step in all professional selling is needs analysis. If you don't know what the goals are or what the problems are that need to be solved, how can you ever prescribe a solution? This is why you never want to go in with a pre-scripted sales pitch and just pitch and pitch and pitch until you first stopped, asked the prospect questions to uncover what their true needs and goals are. So as I mentioned in my previous video for buyers, there's all sorts of different motivations for going solar. You know, some people like the electric bill offset. And so for them, it's mainly just a dollars and cents calculation as far as what's the dollar for dollar return on investment. Other folks, more like myself, they like the safety and the security, knowing that regardless of what the situation is outside, you and your family are never going to be without power. So that type of buyer is mainly concerned with self-sufficiency and security. But you're going to want to ask them up front, what is your goal with looking at solar power? Are you looking to help the environment? Are you looking to cut your electric bill, or are you looking to protect your family from a loss of the electric grid? Very, very different motivations, but you need to uncover what that motivation really is. And then once they've identified it, ask them to elaborate on it. For example, if the customer is primarily concerned with battery backup to protect from a power outage, ask them about how often they lose power. What was the last time they lost power? What was the experience like? Did they lose their food? Were they unable to flush the toilets? In other words, keep them talking, keep them remembering the experience, because this is going to help you out, once you get to the end of the conversation, as far as reminding them the motivation for going down this path in the first place. But the key point is you have to start your sales interview with needs analysis. All right, the next thing that you have to do is you need to do your homework on the equipment that you're offering. Now, I know that many of you out there, you only have maybe one or two different brands of equipment to offer. And as the saying goes, if the only tool you have is a hammer, then every problem looks like a nail. But you don't want to be there pitching why your solution is best if it, in fact, may not be the best thing. Okay? And if you have multiple options available, you want to really take your time and study how those systems work. Are you proposing a string inverter system? Are you proposing a microinverter system? Are you proposing a DC coupled hybrid system? Or are you proposing an AC coupled hybrid system? And if so, why? If you don't know what those terms mean, then go back and watch the Solar Surge channel, where we teach you about different types of solar and battery backup systems and some of the pros and cons of each. At the very least, go to the manufacturer's website for the major system components that you're offering and read the spec sheets and understand the basics, at the very least at a user level, of what this equipment offers and how it's positioned competitively with the other leading products that are on the market. All right, the third thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you discuss the different financing options and the pros and cons of each with your prospect. For some people that are early in life, maybe they're brand new homeowners or newlyweds, they may not have enough savings to practically be able to make an outright solar system purchase. But these types of buyers generally are great candidates for doing solar financing because they can use their monthly electric bill savings to cover the cost of a solar loan payment. So they can get the solar without really having to pay out of pocket for it. If you have an older prospect who's nearing retirement or is retired, generally those type of buyers have access to cash and credit where if they wanted to purchase the system outright, they are in a position to do so. So let your prospect know, Mr. Prospect, if you can make me a direct offer, I may be able to offer you a more competitive pricing. That way you can avoid all of the closing costs and the bank fees that are associated with offering solar financing. So definitely make sure you have that conversation with your buyer as well. Okay, the fourth thing that you're going to need to learn how to overcome is the pricing objection. And I found that the best way to explain this to the prospect is this. Mr. Prospect, I'm not going to be the cheapest price out there. There are always going to be cheaper price companies out there. Usually they're upstart companies that are just getting going and they're throwing out very, very cheap bids trying to build their business. However, what you need to consider is that this investment in solar is a 25-year investment. And so it's not just a matter of what is my cost to get it to you today, but it's how confident are you that I'm going to be around and my company's going to be around to service and honor this warranty over the next 25 years. When you position pricing in that context, typically pricing is never going to be your issue. You might also ask the prospect, did he hire the cheapest contractor to build his house? Did he buy the cheapest brand automobile available? And in almost every case, the answer to these questions is no. So don't worry about having the cheapest price or the lowest bid. Just go ahead and tell them that you're not going to be the cheapest price and tell them why, and then let's move on to closing. All right, and then finally, you're going to have to close your prospect. Now, I know I said earlier in this video that you're not there to sell, and that's true. You're not there to sell. You're there to educate and provide your expertise in service of the client's goals. But once you've done that and you have the right deal on the table, then you do have to close. Because as a sales professional, until the contract is signed, you can't help them and you can't earn anything for yourself. So yes, every one of these engagements should, if you've got the right solution, it should end in a closing. And this is something that you might have to practice, and also you may have to ask multiple times. Okay? This is perfectly normal. Okay, on average, a salesperson has to ask 7 times until they get a yes. So you may want to start early in the process when you're first sitting down. Mr. Prospect, if I'm able to get you what you need at the right price, is there any reason we can't go ahead and do a project for you today? Okay, and then again at the end of your presentation. So based on what you're telling me, you need a system to perform X, Y, and Z, and this particular model is going to be the right solution for you. Ideally, when would you like to have something up and running? And if they tell you such and such, 2-3 months from now, then great. Then you can go into, well, then the next step would be to get you credit qualified, or the next step would be to get you to sign here on this work order. But you do have to close. The problem is you don't want to be perceived as a pushy salesman trying to push your solution on them. The first thing you got to do is you make sure you understand what their true needs and goals are. You need to make sure that your competency is there so that you can prove that you are best suited to match their needs and requirements with the available equipment. And then it should just be a matter of getting through a few objections and closing the deal. Well, folks, this has been 5 things to know as a new starting solar sales professional. As always, if you're getting good value from the information on Solar Surge channel, please click that like button as well. I know I say it like a broken record, click the like button, but it's important because there's like 2 billion or something videos on YouTube. So if YouTube doesn't see people clicking and interacting and commenting and all that, then it just buries the video and it moves on to something else. So I appreciate you for clicking that like button. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That way you won't miss any of the new videos that we're putting out. We're trying to get 3 or 4 videos out every week. We're on like an every other day type of drip. We don't always hit that, but we're trying to get 3 or 4 new videos out for you every week. Well, thanks again for tuning in today. As always, I'm Joe Ordia, encouraging you to get prepared and be empowered. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.